Hi, and welcome to News 24. My name is Candace Alisho, a part of the News 24 Live team. And today for Wellness and Relationships, we're speaking to Nomalanga the Flame Shozi, a South African actor, award-winning MC and entertainer who is gearing up to host the 2025 Miss South Africa finale. Yeah. So I'm hoping today will be an introduction to you as a person, as a brand, to our audience before they watch you do your thing on Saturday. So can we throw it all the way back to the beginning? Who was little Nomalanga? Where was she from? How did she grow up, and who did she dream of becoming?
So she always dreamed of becoming somebody, you know. I come from a very big family with lots and lots of siblings. My mom is a teacher, my father was a creative, he was an actor, he was a playwright, he played golf. So I think that's where it came from. But I think in the family dynamic, I was always that kid who, you know, always had the most to say, doing really well at school, you know, overachiever in general. And I always wondered where all of that energy would go, like how would I channel it, where would I direct it? And entertainment just sort of found me, you know. Out of high school, I started doing radio and community radio and doing some really cool things that I didn't know were available and accessible to me because I'm from Port Shepstone. That's a very small town in the lower south coast of KZN, right? And oftentimes people think it's a part of the Eastern Cape even, you know. So I always wanted to make a name for myself and, you know, create or do something that would bring attention to our hometown and Port Shepstone boy, you know, have people say, yeah, we also have somebody who is someone in the world, and her name is Nomalanga Shozi.
I love that. Yeah. And that your career in community radio takes me to my next question. A lot of people consider your role in Rhythm City your breakthrough role, but you were in entertainment before that, and that's like a lesser spoken about part of your career when people are recalling how you got to this point. So could you talk us through that and how you actually got that start and what you were doing?
Okay, so 2016 was when I got my breakout role on Rhythm City, which was incredible because it was an open call casting, so anybody from all corners of South Africa could enter. That was very intimidating, and funnily enough, I didn't know anything about it because my friends from school told me about it. So I was in PR, studying PR at Rosebank College at the time. So I get to the lecturer, to the class, and my colleagues are like, well, Nomalanga, you know, there's this role for Nomalanga on Rhythm City, and we think you'd be perfect for it. And also it's funny because your name is Nomalanga. And I was like, okay, cool. So I entered on the very last day of the competition. And I got the part. It was quite an interesting journey. But before that, I started in community radio, and then I graduated to regional radio, which was when I joined the biggest youth station in the country, Gagasi FM, which became my radio home for quite some time. And I gained so much knowledge, so many insights, and met so many people. I mean, I got my first presenting job on the Paramount Network because of Gagasi FM, because I was interviewing Umonde Twala.
Okay.
Yes, because they had a partnership with Gagasi at the time for the MTV Africa Music Awards.
Yes.
And so we interviewed him. I didn't even know who he was. And I was like, oh, it's another interview, another client interview. And it turned out that he really enjoyed the interview, and he said, you need to be on TV. And I was like, well, let's do it, you know, and then one thing led to another.
You've shared powerful stories about life-changing experiences that weren't always glamorous on your journey to become who you are now. How do you cultivate mental resilience today, specifically as a public figure, and also going into what you're going into being a host? Like, mentally, you have to be strong in as much as you're talented and you're experienced and you've learned things. You also just need to be in a good space to do that. So how do you get yourself into that headspace?
Just blocking out the things that don't serve the greater purpose. Right now, the greater purpose is, you know, doing an incredible job on the Miss South Africa stage. I mean, I think we're presented with such a unique opportunity where it's a change of ownership, you know, it's a new direction, it's a revitalized energy projecting into the future. I mean, you look at everybody who is a host, either on the red carpet or on stage or backstage. Everyone is young, you know, and everyone has a fresh perspective and a very distinct perspective when you look at all of our personalities. And so that's a big responsibility because it's young people watching us the same way we used to watch, you know, the Bassies and the Carols and the Vinolias, you know. And so it's very, very exciting. However, it's very important not to get lost in that excitement, right? And understand what's important. Right now, what's important for me is the stillness, the quiet, my prayer time, being disciplined with what I eat, you know, how I spend my energy, where I spend my time, getting things done, of course, but just always going back to zero each and every day. I never want to go to sleep on a -1 or even on a 20. I always want to be on a 0 so that tomorrow is a brand new slate.
My next question is about becoming a girl mom in 2022 and, you know, how that new chapter changed your life. How has that refined your sense of balance and purpose, like what you just touched on now, you know, forcing yourself to slow down and listen to her? What other lessons or what other ways has she changed your life?
Yeah, so being a mother is like having a mirror lifted up to your face 24/7 because you understand how important and impactful everything you do and say is, right? When your children start to mimic you to yourself, you're like, wait, what? Do I say that? You know, like my inner will say to me, don't do that. And I'm like, is that me? Oh my goodness, because where else is she getting it from? You know, she's so sassy. So being a mom has really just, again, just reiterated these notions and thoughts of, you know, servitude, selflessness, you know, thinking of others before yourself. And, you know, I never used to understand it, like the sacrifices that my mom used to talk about, like, oh, you don't know the amount of sacrifices. And I'm like, girl, no one forced you to do that. And now I get it, you know, it really is, because sometimes, like, I don't want to share my yogurt with you. Like, I really don't. But you're my baby and I love you so much, so have it. You know what I mean?
And then sometimes we eat it in the car before we get in the house.
I know, right? But it's things like that that just teach me, Uguti, man, life is so much bigger than us.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And ultimately, 100 years from now, none of us will be in this room. You know what I mean? And what is the impact that we're leaving for the people we have brought onto this earth and the people that we've brought along on this journey with us, right? What are we doing for them? What's the greater good? You know, what's the big idea? And that's where I'm trying to tap into right now. And I think motherhood has been a catalyst for that change in mindset.
Right.
Yeah.
And that change in mindset coupled with the new energy of Miss SA, which is empowerment has always been a cornerstone of the organization, but they're just striving to make that clearer this year. Mm-hmm. And then with all the things that you've touched on, navigating life as a woman in the industry, understanding your mother now as you being a mom, mm-hmm. How do you envision teaching your little girl about empowerment and self-worth, given the roles that you occupy and the things that you've learned?
Well, I think if we look at my life, well, when she does, you know, as a case study or whatever, you know, in whatever shape or form, like telling her friends about what her mom does, I suppose the main thing for me is that at every phase and stage in my life, there was a nugget where empowerment was key, right? I had to empower myself to make a decision to move out of home, empower myself to make a decision to drop out of school and pursue career, empower myself to get to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm going to go back to school and still pursue the career. So there's points, my career and my life so far is punctuated with many of those where I took a decision because I thought that was best for me, but not realizing that I was acting out of, you know, that need for empowerment, right? And I hope that my life and my career and what I've done so far can be a good example to her. In that front, you know, and away from the lights, away from the shows and show business, just for her to be a woman who is able to speak up for herself, has a very strong, defined voice, who knows what she wants and is delusional about it, you know, and believes that she is going to get it, because ultimately those are the ones who win.
You've described hosting the Miss South Africa 2025 finale as a full circle moment after years of watching icons grace the stage, and now you'll be joining them alongside Pamela Mtanga. Mm-hmm. If you could crown one quality from your life's journey, whether it's resilience, your spark, your dedication, as the ultimate Miss South Africa trait,
ooh,
what's that one quality in your life or your career journey that you would crown as the ultimate trait?
I think having heart. I do everything from my heart, right? And you can almost tell. In fact, you can tell. Like if my heart is in it, I lean into it. I sparkle. There's something about me that lights up, you know? And I think that's the same goes for everybody, you know? And I think all of our Miss South Africas over the years, that's the one thing that they had and have in common, heart, you know, because you have to attach yourself to a cause that means something to you. Now, if you choose a cause that means nothing to you, you won't have heart for it. You won't have the heart for it, right? And I love that so much about the journey to becoming Miss South Africa. But if I thought about one quality that really would take the crown when becoming Miss South Africa, I think it really would be having heart, showing up 100%, each and every time. Because also, babe, like, this is where we are. This is the life we chose, and you should love it. You really should love it. I don't think life should be misery. I don't think your work should be miserable. I don't think any part of our existence, outside of pain, because you can't separate the human condition and the human experience from pain. Those things will come, right? And when they come, they hit hard. But enjoy them, embrace them, feel them completely. Don't ever shut anything out, ever, And so, yeah, girl, it's the heart takes the crown, for sure.
Where can people keep up with what you're doing? What can they lend their support to next in your career? And what would you like people to what note would you like to leave people on if they're watching this interview?
Well, firstly, follow me on all social media platforms. It's at Real Nomalanga. On Instagram, on X, on TikTok, it's Nomalanga Real, and on Facebook as well, I'm Nomalanga Shozi. That's where you can keep up with everything that's going on. So many cool things are in the pipeline and in the works, and I'm just really excited for people to see my heart even more. And I think the note that I would just love to leave people with for those watching this interview is that, man, it really doesn't matter where you come from. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Anything that's happened in the past doesn't exist anymore. You know what I mean? And the future is now, and it's yours for the taking, and just do the most with it. Do the absolute most with it. Don't worry about the noise. There's so much of it everywhere all the time. And sometimes the noise is internal. But once you learn to conquer your mind and yourself first, the world is literally your oyster. And I'm living proof of that. So, yeah.
Nomalanga the Flame Shozi, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for your insight. It's been wonderful getting to know you.
It's been so cool. It's been so cool. Thank you so much. Thank you, News 24. And I can't wait to see you soon.